Citizen for the month of September. So starting off from the very top, we have the AI content team. Continue test updates to some of the landing zone NPCs, looping in QA team to stress test the setup to ensure it can take the strain of extensive use and trigger any potential issues. All right, that's cool, but let's keep going. I'm not gonna read everything. I'm just gonna read the highlights. But the AI features updated numerous features last month, beginning with AI weapon content, which will now remain in sync with weapon statuses, allowing them to work better in unison. Support was then added for NPCs to systematically target vehicles in combat. Improvements were made to the Rocketeer behavior, allowing NPCs to switch between using a rocket launcher and a pistol depending on the situation. Default behaviors were introduced to the Buddy AI, allowing NPCs to follow their leader and stay in close proximity during combat. TPS covers a long path and was finalized based on feedback. So that's pretty cool. Ammo loading updates are underway as well. Formerly mentioned in the previous monthly reports as an upcoming creature, the new Yormandi now uses different fire modes in its attack. Issues with perception giving false positives were also fixed. Further improvements are currently underway for this and existing creatures. In addition, new functionality was updated for its testing first reactions by generating test call level variants, making rapid iteration and testing easier for each situation. Moving on to AI tech. Saw improvement to NPCs using elevators by simplifying the set of transit carriage. Focus is currently on 3D navigation and NPC flying ships, so hopefully soon we get some new ships flying around. The team continued to improve the flight path finder system and 3D collision to avoid using the newer voxel grid approach. Collision avoidance using the newer voxel grid approach for custom environments. This focus is to unify the process flow, so that's pretty cool. Development was done on the AI perception code with the team fixing issues with knowledge escalation when seeing enemies between the primary and secondary fields of view. Direct precipitation is also introduced, which simulates knowledge at distance perception. For example, when NPCs communicate via comms, this enables systematic reactions to NPCs being killed while talking, even without direct line of sight. Improvements were also made to where the assignments are queued in relation to the usable builder tool. Updates were made to the AI sequence system, which manages AI agent scripting in the flow graph. The critical flow mode for AI agents was brushed up to while it is in this mode. StarScript improvements are still being made as the team improved the tool following feedback from the devs. Game intelligence. In September, the game intelligence development team focused on completing the next milestone for the Mission System 2.0. They are currently breaking down the work and discussing the best possible path to approach the implementation. They also continue to fix bugs and performance issues, and worked on features suggested by the designers to improve StarScript. The animation team continued to work on an upcoming creature and boss fight alongside supporting a new mission giver. Facial animation progressed through new performances that were captured in late August. These include characters that will be present in multiple upcoming releases, including a returning air traffic control voice. Look, I am too new of a Star Citizen player to know what the old air traffic control voice was, but I have seen videos on it. And that sounded so nice compared to what we got today. So I hope that will be nice to hear coming back. The animation, narrative, and mocap teams also planned for the next shoot, which will be held at the beginning of October. So right around now. Art and characters, we're going to wait till we get down to here, okay? Yeah. Art and characters, the character art team finalized both new armors and a new gang. Work also continued on polishing the Yormandi. The concept art team continued iterating on new armors. Art ships. So, in the UK, work continued on the RSI Aurora and Aegis Hammerhead up to modern standard. The Aurora progressed through Lot 0 and final stages as improvements were made to the component bays, bed access, dashboard placement, entrance method, VTOL setup, and cargo access on the underside. For the Hammerhead, focus was implementing improvements made to the base corridor kit from the recent Idris release, alongside making sure the component bays and relays are suitably placed and accessible. So I'm guessing this is... not sure, actually. Maybe the Paladin? Or the Perseus? Or that's something to do... I'm not sure. Speaking of which, though, the Paladin progressed into LOD 0, the final adjustments being made to the main quad turret to ensure its movement is unhindered in both flight and landed state. The downstream teams kicked off their work on the ship too. The MISC Hull B is now well into its white box phase. The majority of the interior was implemented to the required travel level, while adjustments are currently being made to the exterior mesh to meet the gate requirements. Following last month's work, the Drake Ironclad and Assault, plus the upcoming updated command module, are approaching their combined white box gate review. So that's good. 4 unannounced vehicles, also 4. So we were at 3 last month, but now we're at 4. 4 unannounced vehicles continued development through September. The first approaching its LOD 0 review, while the second progressed through LOD 0 gate and is now in its final stage. A variant of a popular recent release is receiving gray box LOD 0 work in tandem due to the nature of the changes. The fourth passed its gray box review early September, with LOD 0 work due early October. Some of the downstream teams began their tasks too. So I think the third variant might be the MR for the Zeus. Because as I can think right now, that's the only ship that we know that has a third variant. Either that one or it's the Starlancer series. The MX, I believe it is, or it's the Max, the build variant. I can see that being that too. So here it looks like we have a picture of... I'm not sure at all. I don't know my ships too well, or what design language is. I want to say it's Drake, but we'll see. The North America team begins the month finalizing fixes for the Apollo ships ahead of their release. So, yeah, they kind of already got fixed, but various optimizations were also made following player use in the PTU. LOD 0 for the RSI Perseus was also passed early on in the month, with the team moving on to the final touches and downstream teams beginning to close out the ship. The white box phase officially kicked off for the Drake Kraken in the latter half of the month. Last month's pre-production phase led to numerous improvements and adjustments to navigation flow and interactions throughout the ship. So this right here, this is crazy that they're already in white box. Already. I can see the Kraken next year. And I'm wondering if that is true, that the reason that Drake Interplanetary is not going to be at this year's Expo is because they want to kick the Kraken off with a huge bang next year. So we'll see. 2 unannounced vehicles progressed to vehicles. That should tell you something. Vehicles, not ships. Everything else has said ships. This says vehicles. Therefore, we're probably going to see a vehicle. 2 vehicles, actually. So probably one of those 2 that we saw. Anyway, the team kicked off the month with the grand finale of this year's Ship Showdown, where the RSI Polaris claimed the crown. To honor the champion, all backers will receive an in-game commemorative Polaris-themed holographic banner at this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. The Anvil Asgard, Anvil Gladiator, and the RSI Zeus Mark II ES rounded out the top 4. All 4 vehicles received a new 2955 Best in Show paints and poster at IAE. Ship Showdown was not the only race to reach its conclusion. The race for Stanton was also crowned as champion, with Hurston Dynamics amassing a staggering 337,131,104 SCU to secure victory, followed by Microtech, Crusader, and Arcorp. Pirate Week sailed into port as a crew of Corsairs proudly flew their colors in the pirate flag design contest. The team charted the course for the treasure hunt by crafting riddles and clues and sent players searching across Stan and Pyro, while each This Week in Star Citizen during the event spotlighted the pirate organization. To support the release of Alpha 3.1 Virtue's Ascent, the team published a catch-all post, updated the Onyx Facilities FAQ, and released a dedicated Q&A for the newly flyable Apollo. They also work closely with internal teams to track, I don't know how to say that word, but sentiment and community feedback, ensuring community notes landed in the right developer hands. The team also continued their evergreen tasks, which include publishing This Week in Star Citizen, bi-weekly roadmap updates, and roundups, and other updates, such as monthly reports like this one. They also gathered pressing questions from the community, following up with the developers, and assembled Comments Drive number 3, which provided detailed topic and answers ranging from ship lights to upcoming improvements. So we'll look at that next, actually. The Bar Citizen World Tour made a stop in Lisbon, Portugal, Rome, and Italy. Core gameplay. As part of the ongoing medical gameplay improvements, the team provided support for the bespoke take-in-place animations and reworked implementation of players clearing their respawn points in vehicles. Bug fixes were implemented for the medical screen, along with improved validation to make sure it's easier to spot errors. Tiered medical bed spawn ranges were re-implemented for more robust compatibility with server meshing. Additionally, new controls were exposed to the designers that allow them to control the hearing cost per medical bed tier, while additional data was exposed to the UI designers to add new information to the medical screens. For engineering, the team continued iterating on playtest feedback and hardening the feature ahead of a wider scale test. That may come up soon. The vehicle command module continued through its pre-production phase, with the devs completing the prototype and technical design. Additional debug tooling revealed various issues with the underlying docking system, prompting an effort to fix critical flow issues. Flight gameplay also progressed through September. AI can now correctly utilize control surfaces in atmosphere and adhere to velocity goals. Announcers are no longer required to be attached to the dashboard to be functional, allowing them more flexibility in cockpit design. The team also prepared for focus testing of the improved flight model. The ongoing inventory rework progressed with the implementation of equipment and equipped item slots. Further functionality was added to the Paper Doll UI and search bar. The team also exposed controls to help design define the rules for proximity loading. The economy team this month has been exploring how to make the player's impact on freelance and commodity trading more impactful and longer lasting. In the process, they adjusted offer and demand at the same locations while tuning profits to fit the current level of the economy. The team evaluated the data on drop rates of some rare items and made them more prevalent. The cargo manifests found in spawn ships were also redesigned so their value doesn't undermine the intended gameplay for certain missions. The mission design began September, finalizing the narrative missions for ASD facilities before we're looking forward to the rest of your content. They also began to removing old factions players will no longer work with and reorganizing the new ones they will. Interesting. Alongside this, the team reviewed bounty missions and added comms notifications to the mission provider. This is part of the ongoing initiative to bring missions up to a standard. Mission design will also work alongside engineering to solve long-standing issues with spawn closets and made more fixes to the mission generation system. In September, the narrative team focused on tasks to help close out the rest of the year strongly. They focused on crafting scripts that will add additional dynamic conversations, a new Covalax mission representative, vendors, and customers to the game. This sounds interesting. And spent time generating mission text and lore discoverables for several upcoming events. Narrative worked alongside the environment, art, and branding teams on the signage and environmental storytelling for several upcoming levels. Time was also spent planning narrative initiatives for next year, and this was an excellent opportunity to learn from the recent releases and continue to strengthen the player's narrative experience across the game. And the narrative experience is amazing, although I really wish they kind of do 2 narrative events. Anyway, online technology. Last month, the live tool has been updated for error reporting pipeline, including moving panic migration from heap to larval. The Panic Web Tool app can now configure stream settings, removing dev time by allowing users to define the configuration for each stream themselves. The Symbolizer was also rewritten to be event-driven, making it more stable and scalable. Okay. Research and development team focus exclusively on analyzing performance and optimizing the game and game code. VFX finished up their task for ASD locations and final event work, while the RSI Apollo Triage and Medevac released their VFX passes. Production continued on the Gormandy and its related locations. I feel like this is going to come out for CitizenCon. VFX passes also began for vehicles coming later in the year alongside pre-production and upcoming locations and missions starting in the next week or so. So, with that being said,